Follow Vlossom here to hear Catch Your Breath first. I met the preternatural Alister on one of those aberrant days where the sky was full of electricity. On one of the main boulevards in downtown Adelaide, my drummer Timmy, who's everybody's friend, saw him coming towards us. I clocked him, looking like a soft punk. Dock boots, high-waisted faded jeans, suspenders over slouched shirt, and a bleached shaved head. An enigma about him. There's just something about some people. Oh, hi, I'm Alister, and this is my brother Doug. We're here on tour also. Lovely, warm words on a cool autumnal day in South Australia. Within a few moments, I say, "Hey, Alister, we should make an album." I'm impetuous like that, and this was greeted with exuberance. He says he's playing tonight. We are too. I say I'll come after our show. We play a big show out at some sports field. Lots of lovely folks stomping around in the night. Anyways, our show happens. It's all good. Whatever. I enter the venue. The band's up there and I spot him. He doesn't know I came. I stand and watch and drift mesmerized through the set. No one's talking to me. I'm just here for the ears. Alister swoons across the stage like Spartacus. He's a thoroughbred. He's made for this. He moves through the songs with his prescient manner, delivering goods of the gods to us. I'm sold. I mean, I was anyways when we first met earlier that day, but now there's no way it ain't going to happen. Time passes, tour finishes, and I head back to the USA. And it's time now to sketch some backing tracks for Alister to sing over. Next time it's back in Bondi. In a little flat, there is a sunny room overlooking the bay. No water views, but it's always something to look at. I have a very modest setup, just enough. I don't play in the sketches beforehand. I just want him to go through my process. He agrees and sings on each one by one, all at half speed, so he's singing for a good hour or so. Within a few mere minutes of getting there, he's put to work. I mill about the other rooms of the small flat. It's a wet day, sheets of rain coming and blowing in from the sea. Earlier that day, a strange mist covered the whole bay. Everything about this has been surreal. Our meeting, this day, everything. His pale flesh, a happy ghost musing on the tip of life's wonders. We both connect on a naive, childlike urge to play and have make-believe come real. Alister is a pretty open-minded guy, like me, and thus we've both explored some pretty interesting headspaces, both assisted by plant medicine and otherwise. During the initial recordings of those ideas, it's hard to know what's going down. He's wailing into the reverb-stained Art Deco building. It's bouncing all over the walls. My time is paused. This is a half canvas, like a matte painting waiting for the protagonist to enter the scene. The hour passes quickly, and he leaves. I go through the demos one by one and listen to and stop and loop and jump up and down and play them loud and play them so quietly as to barely hear, but just enough to reach my ears over and over. It's just been created out of solid air, but now it's coming to me. Every lilt, every kink, I'm learning. Each listen deepens the experience. He's sung a world into existence, and now it's time for me to chart it. Like a cartographer with only a pen and parchment, I study every nuance, every curve. It's a slow task, and I'm slow anyways. The detail is immense, and one loses sight of the land and of the sea at times, and even the sky and the stars. A few days pass and I can come up for air. I sit back and listen. There's some edits I've made, some things to be repeated. Oftentimes he'll sing something that's just once, that I can see a sea of people in a festival echoing back. Those kind of moments, they demand repetition, and everybody feels the undeniable, where we all feel the love of another, like my early days at the rave. That kinship. Time passes once more, and we're back again in the USA. I've been working on the words. I fly Alister over for a 10-day intensive. This is where we now must capture the man, so that we may share his brilliance with the others, the audience. He arrives at my place on an unusually picturesque day. Los Angeles is always pretty, but it comes with smog and soot in equal measure. The day is clear, and he's had a good flight. Not something I've experienced many times, but Alister has a great enthusiasm and a positive approach to things. We laugh a lot. It's like we've been friends for years, but only spent a few hours together. We had a light breakfast, and I take him into the shed where my studio is in my garden. We are psychonauts together, aligned. We've seen the stars on fire on the shoulder of Orion, watched the sea beams glitter in the dark near the Tannhäuser Gate, so to speak. We go to work. Now is a teaching moment where I realize if this body of work is going to have every chance to reach its fullmost potential, we need my partner of too many years to mention, Peter, to record and co-produce. The legwork has been done, the inspiration is clear and present. We gather our things and head downtown to a decrepit concrete building that towers above 3,000 mini markets. This is downtown LA, but it feels like a third world place. But USA has many contradictions. This is just another. The studio sits on a 6th floor in a large warehouse space with thousands of records and too much furniture. The inner sanctum is Peter's haven, a good-sized room with many pieces of gear the two of us have collected for years. Synths line the halls, drum machines, guitar pedals and components, and more vinyl, lots more vinyl. Part of a team is recognizing one's strength and one's weaknesses. I'm not a details guy. Well, I am in my own way, but I don't have the approach of perfection. My patience runs clean, and I desire newness. Peter, I know, will take the time. He always takes a lot of convincing to get him into an idea, and this always frustrates me, but I've come to know more about it, that once he is committed, he is there till the dawn, for sometimes years on end. His stamina needs to be used wisely. Having said that, once we start playing the ideas, there is no question as to his interest. We are now 3. This week or two is a blur. It's mainly recording and re-recording the ideas that we had brought in, and some composition, as well as a few other backings and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's not the healthiest week. We swing wildly between American trash foods and celery juices and water. Much of the time when I think about it now comes back to a silliness and cracking up till I'm crying and my cheeks are red and sore. Alister came up with the name Vlossom, but he explained it to me as though it was an ever new joy of life, of flowers, of that smell of spring. Lab78 is because Peter and I were both born in 1978, and we have been in a sort of laboratory since we first started working when we were about 14 years of age. Lab78 is exactly that. It is a laboratory. We don't know what we're doing as we go in, but we experiment, we try new things as a way of finding greater, more beautiful, and more powerful musical pieces.